Sanbonani, Dumelang, Absheni, hello. Xolani Ntuli. I'm a writer, I'm a poet, Zanzi Poetry Academy alumni, current state of poetry, class of 2018. Sibonge lapho kubabuzwa Mbuli for the initiative to give space for artists and grow and nurture their talent. Sibonge lapho kubudvus Muzi Phakathi, the co-founder of current state of poetry, for the development. We're here because of the journey allowed us to be here. At the end, we have to tell our own stories. I'm an author of Stories of the Poet. I just recently published my book, poetry collection by Xolani Ntuli, Stories of a Poet. The reason why we're here and the reason for the event is to tell these stories. And then what inspires me as a writer to write these stories. And yeah, the session will just be introduction to the stories of the poet, and then question and answers. You can question through the comment. Yes, and then the conclusion. After the conclusion, we announce the winner, because if you have liked and shared the event, you stand a chance today to win a copy of Stories of the Poet. Yeah, so let's get to it. Words of wisdom need to be ushered. A better world needs to be built. Listen to the words of reason. Now is time to unchange the mind. Now is time to unchain the hearts. Images of the new dream, images of the new society should emerge. I've just shared a poem, Voice of Reason, by Babuzwa Mbuli. And then it's up to you if you regard it as a poem or if you regard it as a story. For me, it's a great story because poetry, it's imaginative writing and another way of or another style of storytelling. So yeah, we have to study the masters. For me, that's what I've learned through this chain, to study the masters. As I go back to my root, studying the masters, I've learned that as a poet, I'm born as a griot. Now a griot, what is a griot? A griot basically it's a storyteller. It's a historian. It's a historian, it's a poet, or it can be a musician or praise singers. Basically, the position of a griot is to keep the tradition of oral tradition. They were regarded as archive, as leaders, as counselors of royal personages. Yes. So when I started this journey of storytelling, that's what we are regarded as, the kind like me, people like me, griot in West Africa, special. Okay, now in the icon, Stories of the Poet. I will first read the description, and then you're gonna tell me what you think about the description, or what comes in your mind, or what does it say to you. Cause remember, poetry, it's a language, and the reason we have a language is to communicate, is to be heard, is to be understood. So basically why we tell these stories is because of we want to be heard, we want to be understood again as a poet. Because now I find people, they will listen to music and enjoy music without knowing academically or generally. So to say what is music, but they'll dance to this feeling, right? Yeah, they do that, they dance, but without knowing what is music. So now it's my job as a poet now to inform people of what is a poet, and then of course of what is poetry. Before even Thomas coined the word poetry, so that's my job. My job now is to commercialize poetry and inform people of what is poetry so that they can enjoy it. The next generation, because poetry is the mother of all language. You know what I mean? Whether you sing your poetry, whether it's a spoken word, whether you read it, but the main goal is to be heard. It's a language. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's a language. Okay, let's get to it. Stories of a poet. Description. In a world of silent hearts, people are afraid to speak out, to be called whistleblowers. It is how we heal. We tell our stories even if it's uncomfortable, because the truth shall set us free. Everyone has a story to tell. We are authors of our own lives. This book contains stories of a poet. We are all poets, it's just that we don't know it. As one used the language to communicate, to be heard, and to be understood. The purpose of the book is to give a reader confidence, to be inspired, to tell his or her own story just as it is, as it welcomes you to a different world in how we perceive it. It is only the brave who speak their mind and who allow their inner voice to be heard or to be active. Some ignore the inspiration within, as it sometimes serves as a guidance in everything we do. Stories of the poet. Have poetic stories that will leave you banging your head against the wall, and it will leave you with questions and answers in this journey of life in the modern world. After all, we all need to heal until we become better. So that's what inspires me, is to tell these stories. Basically, I'm expressing myself, because I believe if I don't express myself, then I'm depressing myself. I'm depriving myself to be heard, to be understood. Either way, if I don't tell my story, you see how the world is made up now, eh? Fake news, propaganda and lies. So I believe that you at home as a reader or as a writer or as a storyteller, you need to tell your own stories, because history books are full of propaganda. Today it's a movie, tomorrow it's a reality. They rewrite history, so me, I don't believe in yesterday. It's now or never. So, I don't know. Stories of the poet. What's your story? That should be the question for me, to the viewers, to the readers, to the listeners. What's your story? I know that some of us we are on gunpoint. Was it? But me, I've learned to heal, even if it's uncomfortable. I've learned to give my skeletons a shirt and a tie and a suit, to give it life, a second chance to breathe. Maybe people don't understand why my skeletons, I'm giving them a second chance to breathe. So first of all, I know of a man who's now a head of a big bank. He started there as a messenger boy. His father had a button made for him with a P on it. He put it on on a quote. He said, "Son, this P is to remind you that one day you are going to be a president of your big bank. I want you to keep this thought in mind. Every day, do what will bring you nearer to your own goal." Each and every supper, he will say, "Son, what did you do today?" In this way, the thought was kept in mind. He concentrated on becoming a president of the bank, of which he did. His father advised him never to tell anyone what this P stood for. Stories of the poet. Okay. I hope you will find inspiration to this story I just told now. These stories, in fact, cause for me, poetry is a tradition, and I found people doing it here, so it's a tradition I need to keep. So I found courage through reading. I found courage through listening to other people's experience, advice, of course. So the story itself of a man who's now a head of a big bank, it just says to me, Xolani, keep doing what would get closer to your own goal. Never to stop or never to tell anyone or explain yourself, even so, to say why you are doing what you are doing. Because sometimes we even spoil the surprise and our enemies are everywhere. That's another problem. Our enemies are everywhere. People think that I came here to bring peace. You know, I came here to bring fire and to set this world on fire and watch it burn. Because our ancestors left the fire burning. You know, so fire for me, it's knowledge. You know, fire for me, it's wisdom. You know, knowledge is power. You know yourself. If you don't know yourself, you'll suffer in poverty, and that poverty, it's you. Excuse me. So those are the stories that are being told in this book. As a writer, I no longer write generally. There's an intention, there's a goal, there's a mission. We're promoting the reading culture. We're promoting the language. As I've said it before, that poetry is the language on its own. I will just quote Andre Lorde. Andre Lorde says, "For those of us who write, it is necessary to scrutinize not only the truth of what we speak, but the truth of what the language by which we speak." I will repeat. For those of us who write, it is necessary to scrutinize not only the truth of what we speak, but the truth of what the language by which we speak. So already I'm doing my part to do the research of what is of what ancient poets used to communicate. What tools did they use to communicate? And already I'm trying to study the language on its own, you know, cause poetry, it's imaginative writing. So already the mind is communicating, and then the job of the poet is to translate or water down or to simplify of what the observer of this optical illusion is trying to advise us. Yes. So this is the proof and the evidence that even the language that we speak, even Neslung, English on its own, need to be researched, need to be scrutinized. Because what I've noticed is that as poets we are language keepers. So then I have to decide which language do I keep. The language of the foreigner or my mother's tongue. I'm not saying don't be multilingual, or I'm not saying don't learn other language, but at the end of the day, muntu omnyama khuluma, hawubua, hawubula. You know what I mean? I mean, at the end of the day, the gift of the language God gave us because of, I believe, to communicate with us. I believe to be heard, to be understood. Because if we can only understand how God communicates, and then the world will be in harmony. I believe that the world will be in harmony. So the language, there's a lot of things stories we can tell with our language or our own language. In fact, psychology have revealed that when you speak the language of the other, you disconnect yourself from as much as you have to explain something in your mother tongue. It has an impact. But when you have to explain something, you find that in English, on my mother tongue, they will say it in isiZulu. They say isiZulu astolikwa. And then some of the words you cannot translate into English. That's how language is too deep. And then when I study again, I found that there's what we call divine language. There are people who believe that God is using a second language to communicate with us, which means through the fall of mankind, and God had a way before to communicate with us, mankind, and then one will translate. I know that maybe I will sound naive to even refer to Christianity by making an example, but it's the same thing. What Moses did when he went to the mountain, he communicated with God. There's a divine language there, there's a language there, and then after coming back from the mountain, on top of the mountain, he have to transcribe now on a tablet. So this is the modern tablet. You feel this is the modern tablet. Now the world is digital. Fourth industrial revolution. We no longer write on caves. Some of the griots, like the late Babu Credo Mutwa, Vusamazulu, he was a proof that he was there to keep the oral tradition, and there was the language, because he was a shaman. He was like an archive, a library, a living library, because history is there. He tells stories that reveal everything about mankind most. So I'll just quote again in terms of the language. There is another writer, George William Russell. George William Russell says that the mind of a man is made in the image of a deity, and the element of speech are related to the powers in his mind through into being of the oversoul. So again, the mind is made in a deity. The mind has a relation with the speech, has the elements and the powers that allows a soul to express itself. So the mind, uThubaba Uzwakhe Ntuli, one of his poem, athi ukufa komqondo, ukufa komuntu, ubhubha kwesizwe. So basically, it's all started in the mind, the conversation, and then we tell these stories. Mental illness, gender-based violence, patriarchy, feminism, politics, personal stories, praise stories. So that's where I am now with these stories. Story of the Poet, you can get a book on me, the author itself, for $150 for now. Soon I will be going online stores. The price will differentiate. I have books, I have copies. Remember, good people, holding a book, it's like holding someone else's minds. Meaning that you are not only buying a book. You know, it's the mind, it's the communal, it's a communication. You know, so let's tell these stories. Let's inspire. Let's inform. Of course, let's entertain. I would love you to tell me even your story. How are you surviving in this lockdown? How are you breathing? Which formulas do you use to keep the ball rolling? Because life is a game. You have to keep the ball rolling. The world is in motion. You know, I'm here as an artist. I know that we are being affected, each and every department. This thing, pandemic, is globally, and some of us were not prepared. So you can tell your story. Already, I'll be sharing mine. I'll read few poems from the book itself. Yeah, I'll read for the book itself, Stories of the Poet, and then you tell me what you think. Question and answers. You know, let's express. Freedom of expression. Yeah. Again, don't forget to practice what you preach. Practice what you preach. Talk is cheap. Practice what you preach. Talk is cheap. Action speak louder than words. Talk is cheap. Practice what you preach. Now I'm gonna read on the page 28. A poem that I will write you. One of the poem I dedicate to women in these hard times because of mental illness. Because of mental illness, there is gender-based violence. Our women are getting killed. One question that comes in my mind is, if we kill our own women, who will protect them? ngoba umuntu ngumuntu ngabanye abantu nama ngilutho ngaphandle kwabo. That's a question. Ngoba mina I believe that every problem has a solution. You know, I attend these seminars, I attend these presentations, these sit downs. At the end of the day, it's easy for us to point out the problem, but the solution to be implemented, that's what we need to focus into. First of all, we are living out of our own natural existence. We are being given a bad script. You know, like the lies that my teacher told me. I remember like 2008 when I was doing history book. I mean, history as a subject. There was a book which we read about, a history book that we read. When I read there, they say that black people are not grateful. The white people have taught us civilization. So you see how sensitive this issue is of telling your own story. At the end of the day, you'll grow up with lies and believe them that they are the truth. But basically, lies, man, that my teacher told me. You know, so if you don't write your own truth, hey, Baba, you know, black men, you're on your own, man. Until we unite, until the world becomes one, you know, until we are free, because only you who can set your mind free. Until we are free. Yeah, let me read the poem, because next spread. The poem that I'll write you. This poem is dedicated to all the women, the Ankh, the tree of life. Women were the locus of reproduction, Mother Earth, Zalabantu, uzebantwini, qoma ntombazana kunantombi yaqoma inyamazane, wena uyilanga eliphuma ehlobo, asandise sami isibongo sivele siqeda inzondo, uthando lusemehlweni lungiphendula isikhotheni, angidinge kubuza baby nyazi vele ngishaya intweni. Yes, the poem that I'll write you. The poem that I'll write you, if only your name had roots, where your face glows hope. I'll write about the seeds of life that grow whole, of your eyes that represent the moon and the sun, for I believe that you are the seed blooming into a womanhood, a petal that is colorful and fragile, a flower on the making. You are not that wildflower, bitter herbs. Instead, I will write about Mother Earth, children of the soil, who grew in hope in a promised land. I'll write about a new day, a new year, changes in our life that breed rainy days, of the rainbow that symbolize your beauty on the sky, your true color that is visible to the naked eyes. I'll write about your love at first sight, and then I'll write about you, Mama Africa. We live, we learn, we do, we enjoy, we unlearn, you know. So why I chose to write about this poem, to say I'll write about you and refer to a woman. Why I wrote that poem, what inspires me to even write about women. Ebana, I don't know, have you noticed that women history, it's not there. I don't know how did it happen, what went wrong, but what I've noticed is that women history is being erased, or should I say, women are not given a chance to be heard, to be understood, to communicate. Because even religion itself, even religion itself, it deprives women, because they'll tell you that God gave men powers to be the head of the family, while 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 we all know that the single mind has power, but if there are two minds, it's like having two battery. So that means it's more power. I don't know if I make sense, but I believe that we influence each other. I believe that between male and female, we cannot survive without the other. So we read about male public figures, we celebrate men, but women, their history or her story, if I should say, it's I don't know, it's buried somewhere. It's there, but it's like it's echoes to the deaf ears. But I don't know, man. Maybe it's the power structure, what they will refer to as patriarchy. It's part of this political system. I don't want to go deep in that, but what I wanted to express is that since I've been born young, through manhood, as a male, women everywhere. I mean, I'll make an example. 1976, June 16. I study history, and mostly you will read about Botsetsi Mashinini, you will read about Hector Peterson, and all those people are males. And it's like women were not there. It's like women, they never fought for the struggle of the world or of the country. And it's intimidating, because manje, a rotten potato spoiled the whole bag. Men are trash. So all of us now, we are trash. In this wasteland, all of us, we are trash. But then, if maybe we can give a chance a woman to lead, that will be the first change. If we can give a woman the position to lead, because I personally, I do believe in women leadership. I do believe that my generation, can make a change. And even worse, I'm raised by a single parent. Imagine, I'm raised by a single parent, and that parent, it's a woman. I'm not saying that she has the power to grow a boy, or to turn a dear boy child into a man. Of course, I'm born a man since young, and then all these stages will allow me to be, these stages of life will allow me to reach that fatherhood. But my point is, a woman, it's my pillar right here. I'm here because of her prayers. I'm here because of her wisdom. I'm here, I have a shelter, and there are a lot of things I can mention. But as a woman, as a captain of the ship, I'm here and the ship didn't sink. So imagine if we have a woman well informed, no propaganda, well informed, good education, good academics, good leadership skills, natural born leaders, where will the world be? You know what I mean? I know some of us are afraid of change. I know that this what I'm saying now will intimidate a lot of men, but I'm just saying, I see the promised land being ruled by a woman. I see a president. My next president will be a woman. Because I believe that our bodies, or even how we are being created, is different, but the yin and the yang, the male and the female, the good and evil, it exists in all of us. Although our bodies are different, our organs are different, a woman has a power sexually, and a man has power physical. That is why even in a war, they send a man, rather than a woman. But do you know the feminine side of God? Do you know that male and female, when they are united, or when they marry, they become gods? They become gods. Do you know that a woman can be a moon among stars? To shade that beam. Because me, I believe I'm a star, and then my mother is a moon. I've seen a lot in darkness. In darkness, there is light. Out of light, there is darkness. So let there be light, guys. This is the light right here I'm trying to share. These are the stories to say, let's take care of each other. Africa, ngiyazi ukuthi akukho lolu ukukhuluma kufani nokwenza. Let's go back to our roots if that is necessary. Let's contact, let's interact, let's socialize, let's centralize. Let's give a woman a chance, to be heard. Let us not deprive them. You know what I mean? So I know that we are living in Babylon era. There's a lot of confusion. There's a lot of destruction. Everyone is trying to survive. It's a conquer jungle. But bayasho bathi ukuhlula amadoda kuyabiwa bafowethu. Ukuhlula amadoda kuyabizwa. So silence is no longer golden. Silence means consent. Asibonisaneni, hlale phansi, sibonisaneni. We have questions, we have answers. You are a slave, you are a master of your own life. You are your leader of your own life. You are the odd. If you ask me, black man is possible. If you ask me, if you can be taught better to unite as a nation, it's possible. Never mind the system, never mind everything. But if only we can believe in ourselves, because it starts first with ourselves. Everything it starts with ourselves, because I believe in attitude is like a flat tire. If you don't change it, you won't go anywhere. So still the language goes to the mind. We need our mind. We need to own our own mind. We need to own our thoughts. Leave the technology and meet your Christ. Allow yourself to think. Allow yourself, even if they are bad thoughts, even if the thoughts they are not comfortable for you, allow yourself to think. Bring solution. Read. We are promoting a reading culture with these stories of the poets again. That's what I wanted to mention. We are promoting a reading culture, and I will share another story why why I believe that we need to read. And if we don't read, man is evil. Man is evil. Ungazi kufana nongaboni. That means I can personally lie to you. That is why somebody will say poets are great liars. Because of if you don't read, if you don't seek knowledge, you'll be doomed. A lot of people, they perish because of the lack of knowledge. Right there. It's not intelligence, it's all about remembering. Nizilibele kuba nizalwa ngobani. Nizilibele kuba nizalwa ngobani. Ufuna ukuthi uthandiswe amazwi aza kutshela. Usisithandiswa amazwi aza kutshela. One of the greatest griots, one of the greatest praise singers, one of the activists, one of the fire lighters. So 2 minutes, I want to share a story with you why I believe that we need to read, why I believe that we need to promote a reading culture. I know it's not easy. Who said it's going to be easy? Yeah? Because we dance with our death, we dance with our resistance until we stand. We dance on that dance with my live band until we reach the dead end. So we dance. Even if death can do us apart, we're gonna still dance. I wanted to share you just an abstract I've received one from the Mzansi Poetry Academy Resource Center. They say what books can do to you. So I'm gonna read this story with what books can do to you. They say if one word can change the world, imagine what could books do. If one word can change the world, imagine what books could do. Yes, let's imagine what do books do. What impacts do they have? How important they are. Do books change the world? Wisdom, you seek it. So basically it's experience and books. So do books change the world? That would be your question to answer. Books change the world. The sacred texts have actually paved the path of human evolution. But books do not only change the world at macro level, they change it also at micro level, at the level of the individual. Reading a book modifies one state of consciousness, allows physical beings to entertain spiritual journeys into universes that exist within and beyond the one we usually inhabit. Reading reshapes our brain by stimulating the imagination. It allows us to elevate ourselves to a higher level of perception, to stretch the borders of our creative faculties and enter the dimension that will not be able to access without the interaction with words. Powerful right there. So that means we travel when we interact with words. There are worlds that we enter when we read. Reading the works crafted by the great masters, those individuals who had engaged at the deepest level with the abstract entity called language. God! It's a spiritual experience. Can I read this again? Because I think it makes sense to what I was trying to tell you. That the language. It says reading sublime. It says reading the works crafted by the great masters, those individuals who are engaged at the deepest level with this abstract entity called language. It is spiritual experience. Reading sublime literature makes your body release endorphins. It activates substances that cleanse your blood and your system. It is at the same time the cheapest and the richest detox cure. The energy flows through your body and you reconnect with both your inner spirit and outer spirit. Imagine sitting in a dark room, listening to every profound melodies and songs. Imagine the sensation that traverses your body from head to toe. Imagine that. That is what books can do. Imagine that. That's what books can do. God bless. I assess. So, books. It's a language. It's a language. Ngifisa ngazathi ngayisho nangelimi lebele. Cause umkhondo yiwo lo. You know, thina ke abantu we need to go back siyobheka labantu esibabiza ngokuthi osonkondlo, abalobi, maqopha mlando. Siyobheka kubo sizithola ukuthi thina kahle kahle sizala ngobani, ukuthi thina kahle kahle i-language to use to communicate with our gods. Yabo ukuthi sikhulume nogogo nomkhulu amathonga wethu. Yiphi lo language? Siwavusa kanjani amazulu? Because that means words are magical like that. You know, the way they usually say, they say, pray until something happens. Through the prayer, still it's words. Through the prayer, still it's a language. Pray until something happens. And then, standards izinto zenzeka. Standards izinto zenzeka, meaning yonke lento esifuna, what we are looking for, it's in us. It's just that we need to trace the roots of our clans. You know, we need to trace. We need to learn about the past. You know, to understand the future. We need to learn about the past to understand about the future. Stories of the poet. So, what's the difference? You reading a book and you listening to the song. It's written. The book it's written. The song it's spoken. So basically it's audible and then the other one is visual. So I would love to appreciate even the masters, the art practitioners who we speak the same language, they will say art as a language. What is art if not ourselves? That should be the question you should ask. What is art if not ourselves? Because even art, it's a language. We communicate visually, we communicate auditory, we paint, we sing, we dance, we express, because everything exists in our blood. It's just that we need to remember. We need to express ourselves. I wanna scream and shout and let it all out. Scream and shout and let it all out. Scream, freedom. I'm the bird that escaped the net. Scream, freedom. The eagle, scream. A dream is not a dream until it is shared by a community. Shade that beam. I'm the bird that escaped the net. Scream, freedom. The eagle, scream. The inner child exists. The voice of reason. It wasn't a poem though. It wasn't a poem. It was just a story, you know. It was just a story because of we need to motivate each other. We need to inspire each other in these hard times. COVID-19, corona virus. We can't breathe. We can't speak. You know, we are muted. Shout out to Yamorai. Yeah, I remember one of the great poets, Yamorai. They did a poem on, you know. So I would love to hear your stories, good people. I would love you to share your own stories. How do you survive in this pandemic? What changes? What have you learned? What are your dreams? What are your visions? You know, most internet gods. You know, internet gods, they do the thing. The internet gods, they do the thing. We just experience a glitch right now, but it's cool because we're telling our stories, right? Yeah, it's cool. We're telling our stories. I'm not sure because I don't see any viewers to even announce the winner, because the winner was supposed to be here. The winner was supposed to tune in. So would I be fair to give a copy to someone who didn't even tune in? I don't know. But either way, these stories need to be reached, because they are no longer my stories. They are for the people. They are for the people. So what I can do, or what I can say, is that I'm gonna hold another session next week, Wednesday, which will be maybe, or maybe let's say 7th of July or 6th of July or 5th of July, but you'll see the posters. I'll do another session. Maybe this time I introduce you to poetry, what is poetry and what is not, how to read poetry, how to write poetry, you know. Yeah, I will share those elements with you, of course. You know, maybe you can leave your numbers on the comment where we live, where I create a WhatsApp group of Stories of the Poets to keep you engaged, interacting with the author, you know, to tell our stories, you know, to inspire each other, to spark the light. Maybe I can lend bravery to you. Maybe I can lend courage to you. Maybe I can lend patience to you. Maybe I can learn wisdom to you. Basically, I'm one guy who doesn't believe in competition. I believe that we are being influenced by the environment. We are being influenced by our brothers and sisters. We are being influenced by our teachers, our elders. So you are part of the influence as an audience or as a reader or as a client or as a consumer. Or, you know, I believe that there's a lot to learn from you. You know, yeah, muntu ngabanye abantu. You know, cannot live alone here. You know, probably I'm sharing these stories. Maybe you can relate, or maybe this story can be a trigger warning, can serve you as a guidance. Maybe you can find peace. Maybe you can heal. You know, maybe you can discover yourself. Because we're making history. Yeah, injalo. We're gonna reach now the conclusion of the stories of the poets. It's been great being with you. It's been great to share these stories with you. Ngibonga umusa, ngibonga uthando. Nyazi, we live in hard times, you know. Sometimes the data is the only challenge for us to interact. Sithemba ukuthi the lockdown soon it will end, where we will be hosting this session live. I mean, obvious, not using the technology now. We're going physically, contact on stages, theaters, on book markets, literature, arts department, because that's my career right there. It's my career. I'm not doing this to be famous or whatsoever. No, it's my career. I'm a full-time poet, full-time artist. So your support is highly appreciated. Stories of the Poets right here. 150 a copy. You can call me, WhatsApp me, message me. Let me give you my numbers, in fact. 061 977 8629. You can call, message. Maybe you need a counseling. Maybe you need some advice, you know. Asiboni ngaliso linye, but then, you know, maybe somehow, you know, by sharing this story personal, you know, maybe get to understand the author itself rather than being misunderstood because of the language we use as poets. That's a barrier right there. We need to break that barrier as poets. I know that we preach spiritual world and physical world as poets, as this is an imaginative writing. Yeah, so I would love to interact with you. You know, each one teach one. Iron sharpen iron. Yeah. So ngiyabonga for lesikhathi senu nabatholile ithuba lokuthi they tune in. Nabangalitholanga ithuba because it's a busy world. It's a crazy world. People, they are busy. dizzy. This world is crazy. So sis, I understand that, but then all this craziness, all this wildness, we hope that we're gonna find ourselves. We're gonna find our own department. We're gonna be responsible for our own actions. Sibong. Kwanda kuhle, kwanda impilo, kwanda impumelelo, kwanda ukukhanya. I'm signing out now, but I wanted to share you just a poem from Xolani Ntuli, one of the late poets. Xolani Ntuli was born in 1966. South African poet, was born in Victoria West, educated in Eastern Cape, in a University of Western Cape. In 1986, while he was studying, he was a student leader. He was detained for his political involvement. It was then that he writing poetry. He became well known as a performance poet at political rallies and community cultural events. He has worked as a journalist, both the print and electronic media in the Western Cape and in Gauteng. So basically, Sandile, he published collection of poems include Guava Juice and Telegraph to the Sky. His essay, newspaper column are collected as Soul Fire. So this is my goodbye to you. Sizwe Sagit. Love poem for my country. First published in 1992 by Sandile Ntuli. My country is love. So say its valleys where ancient rivers flow. The full cycle of life under the proud eye of birds adorning the sky. My country is peace, to say the world, where reptiles caress its surface with elegant motions glittering in their pride. My country is for joy, so talk the mountains with baboons, hopping from boulder to boulder in the majestic delight of cliffs and peaks. My country is for health and wealth. See the blue of the sea and beneath the jewels of the fish. Deep under the bowels of the soil, hear the golden voice of the miners' praise for my country. My country is for unity. Feel the millions, see the passion. Their hands are joined together. There is hope in their eyes. We shall celebrate. Thank you all. Bye. Stories of the poet. See you on the next session. It's all love, eh? One love. Ngithanda nonke.